I'm Ashleigh.
And I'm Brooke.
And you're here with us on A Teachers Who Talk Crime
podcast. Hey guys.
Hey, hola, ¿cómo estás?
What's up?
Got this rain in the background.
Yep. We just had a weather day today. I thought I was going to be super productive. And I love that my brain always tricks me into thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
I slept till 9:40, which was amazing, which I blame the rain because you always sleep better when it's raining outside, you know? And then I got up and I worked on my case. And then I went and had lunch with a friend. Then I went and got my nails done. But I
Nice.
had all this stuff that I wanted to do with work and Teachers Talk Crime and this new journey of presenting. None of that happened.
That's all right. It'll get done.
It's okay.
It'll get done. It'll get done when it gets done.
It's okay. Yeah.
I did not have a weather day today, so I was there teaching the youth of America. And then we left work and the rain started raining and the wind started winding. And here we are.
Yeah. And so now you guys are getting what we got last night.
Yes. I'm hoping that school's closed tomorrow, but I doubt it. Even though I know the way my school is set up and I know that part of the parking lot is currently flooded. And part of the playground is also /field is currently flooded. So I feel like if we just keep that momentum going, we'll hopefully have off tomorrow. Just keep it, I'd love that for us. I would love that.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good old weather day. And you know what's funny is now they do call outs, right? Hey, we're not going to have school tomorrow. Do you remember we had to wake up at 5 a.m, get dressed for school,
and watch
and sit in front of the TV?
Oh, I miss those days. And then you see the school, you'd be like, yes!
But then you just wait and you're like, okay, that's my friend's school. Okay. And then your mom would ask you a question and then you would miss it.
And then you would miss it. Yes.
Yep. And you have to sit there again.
And then they were all in alphabetical order. So depending on what letter your school started with, you were like, oh my gosh, come on. I know I'm coming. I know I'm coming up on this list.
Yep.
Yes.
But then I've also seen a lot of, I saw this on TikTok today. And I mean, I agree, but I disagree, right? We're all about the safety of the kids. Granted, we might not, I feel like some of the decisions our parents made were a little questionable back in the day, knowing what we know now. But one parent was like, we went to school anyways. They just told us to put a book over our head and get under the desk. And I remember that. And I never really understood how that was keeping us safe.
It doesn't. Because what's the book going to do if a building fall on top of you?
Correct.
What's that going to do for you?
Yep. Everybody got in the hall and you had to put your head between your legs. Yep.
Brace for impact.
Yep.
Yeah. I just see a whole bunch of parents complaining because a district already closed and they're like, schools are already closed. And it's just we're not doing this just to do it. You have to realize that there's a storm outside. The storm is brewing, which is causing flooding and power outages. So school is not going to be able to run if there is no power to said school.
Yeah. Correct.
Or if little Johnny's house is okay or was blown away by the wind. You know what I mean? Let's be a little bit of mindful of the things that we say, because as teachers, we would much rather be in the classroom because then we're going to have to make up those days.
Yeah.
Okay. Granted, can't wait for my first snow day. Can't wait for the first one. Very excited. Very excited.
Right.
However, those days are days that we're, one, going to have to make up, and two, are going to put us further behind on pacing. So don't be like, oh, these teachers, they just need another day off. Didn't they just have a day off?
We didn't make the rules. We didn't make the
also, I didn't make your vow.
Also, our district did not call us and be like, hey, how y'all feel about this e-learning weather day? We are low men on the totem pole. These decisions are not asked of us. We did
Y'all
not
probably
make these
signed
decisions.
out before us, honestly.
Also, Also, the district next to ours, so like our district was out for an e-learning day, right? So technically we don't have to make that day up because they were still technically learning. Yeah, they were learning. Yeah, right. But the district next to us, which I have friends at, they did not have today off. Well, they started the morning out and they had no Wi-Fi in the entire district. It was out. Yep, it was out. And then one of my teacher's friends said that her first period had 6 kids. Her second period had 8 kids. And guess what that does? That gets you dings on the state report card. Now you look like you have chronic absenteeism because you didn't want to give an e-learning day. So now you got dinged for not canceling school.
And also with this whole Wi-Fi thing, like, granted, we were raised with like the evolution of Wi-Fi. Like we were the plug-in kids with the little cable. We were those kids. And we turned out just fine. I had textbooks. I did computers for special things like research. Like, why are we trying to fix what is not broken? Because at this point in time, like, I would say the generation of 20-something-year-olds are probably the last group of generations that are collectively going to know how to read. Collectively going to know.
Do you remember when you got your textbook and you would go to the front of the textbook just to see who you knew that had it before you? Loved that. That was like creeping before creeping was a thing.
Like, I don't know why we are like shoving these iPads and technology down. Granted, I get it. These are the times. I get it. These are the times. I did just fine without it. I did just fine. I did just fine. I don't want my kids to be the 10-year-olds in Sephora.
Oh, God.
To be the girls. Oh my God, you're gonna be a Stanley. Oh, and you're 6.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or Correct. You're 8 and 9.
Correct.
But you can't spell Stanley. You feel you see how the priorities are now switching here?
Yes.
You see what I'm It just really grinds my gears.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, my kids will never. I'm doing everything in my power to prevent this from happening. Like, so many people like, oh, because the girls' birthday is coming up. At this point, it's past. But what can I get the girls for their birthday? You can get them, they got a Tony's box for Christmas. That little story box, you put the little figure on top. Of course, we got Marshall from Paw Patrol, put him on top. Paw Patrol tells a couple stories, runs for an hour. Beautiful. You know how many figurines they have for that Tony box? Get them some figurines. Oh, you don't want to get them a figurine? Get them an educational learning game. Like, we got to be learning all the time.
While we play it.
We got to be learning all the time. Because some of these parents aren't having the children learn all the time.
Or ever.
Or ever. On Minecraft. Yeah. I do more than me. And what'd you do over the weekend? I slept. I played Minecraft all weekend. I was on my iPad. I did.
What happened to family time? Like, what happened to like family dinners and like going and doing family things and like going to the park? Going to the park and meet like a stranger and play with them. Like, get to know some kids.
I mean, not a stranger, because stranger danger,
Well, I mean, like a stranger kid. Like, like I could see you. Like, I see you. But go like make a friend.
Yes.
Like a real live friend.
Yes. Like granted, it's colder now, so we can't do as much things, but I make sure I try and keep our weekends pretty stacked. Like, like even the girls came home today. Mommy, can we have a movie night? It's a school night. We don't watch TV during the week. If you get iPad time, it's because like I have a doctor's appointment and I have to bring you with me. But as far as, oh, you need to do X amount of lessons on Dreambox, or you need to do I don't want any more screen time in front of my child. My children. I don't want that. I don't want that. Get a little workbook, write it down.
Yep.
Because
I love those good old summer workbooks that we had to do.
Because like Hooked on Phonics, bring that back.
They don't even know what that is now.
Bring that back. Because now the Hooked on Phonics, they don't have the little workbooks. They got the app on the iPad. I don't want that. Give me the booklets that I learned on. Give me the little cassette tape. I will go to the store and buy a little cassette. Let me show you how I did it back then. How it worked back then.
How you had to take the pencil and you had to crank it.
Like, don't play with me. Like, don't play with me. Like, we need to go back to that. because now with everything, like, we're not explicitly teaching sight words anymore, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, but I wasn't explicitly taught the spelling patterns. I was doing 3 times each. I could read just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just fine. Every new thing, every new year, it's like, ooh, we gonna do this. Ooh, science and read. Like, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next?
Yep.
Because
I
I'm tired.
remember the first technology like I saw my teacher use and was like, whoa, is when they had the overhead projector and they learned that you
Those
could write.
were my
And when you
favorite.
learned, when the teacher learned they could write on it with an expo marker and it would go onto the board and then they had their spray and then they sprayed off and start over again. You remember?
Like, bring back overhead projectors. Like those worksheets that you put on the thing.
The clear sheet.
Oh my, bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it back. Does anyone have one? Can I have it?
And we would all sit there and we would be taking notes. And then she'd be like, okay, we got to start over. And she'd spray it. And it was like, and that was AMSR before AMSR was that.
Oh my gosh, it was.
Yeah, see?
Like, bring it back.
That was aesthetic. That was aesthetic.
Oh my gosh, or when you had a sub and they would roll in the TV cart in the room.
TV cart.
Bring it back.
You knew it was a good day.
Because we need to humble these kids. They need to be humbled. They need to be humbled.
It was a good day. Yep.
Like a day where, like, the fact that if Wi-Fi goes out in a school, we are
People don't
all
know what
screwed.
to do. People don't know what to do.
We can't even print.
No.
We should not be this heavily reliant on technology. Because at any given moment, it could fail us. And then what? And then we're running around with chickens with our head cut off. Just like when COVID hit. It was like, well, how do we do this?
Yep.
How do we do this?
Correct. Well, I mean, I use a ton of paper and pencil in math. And like, I call all my students Chromebooks. Like, they do their bell ringers on the Chromebooks. And that's pretty much like, and I try to sandwich it. If my lesson requires the Chromebook, it's Chromebook, close your devil device. And I call them that in class to my students, close your devil device. And like, they've even started saying, close your devil device. And they're like, why do you call it that? I'm like, because it's sucking your brain power. Close it.
It is.
I don't want you to half screen it. I don't want you having your hands under it just to keep it from. I want it closed, kaput, cop. Let me hear it. Let me hear it smack. Yeah. And so I try to sandwich it like, you have your Chromebook time during bell ringers because my bell ringers are digital. And then we do something social and we actually take notes or we do something on the board. And then maybe my like closing activity is on the technology. But most of the time it's on paper. Like the other day.
You are way nicer than me.
Well,
way nicer.
The other day, only the bell ringer was on paper. I tried a new engaging game. I learned it at a conference. Surprisingly, I did not learn this on TikTok. So basically, I gave a introduction to what we were getting to, right? I did about 4 problems with them on the board. And I told them, I said, everybody's starting out with 2 chips. They all had 2 chips. Okay. And I was like, if you listen, you can earn more chips. And you're going to want to have more chips, right? So if you listen now, you earn more chips. And they're like, okay. And some of them are listening. So then I hand out this 12 problem paper. I don't expect kids to do 12 problems. If you can do 3 or 4, that's great. But I gave them 12 problems and they had 8 minutes and they had to solve as many of the problems as they could based off what we just learned. Every problem they got right, they got 2 more chips. So listening earned them more chips because they were getting the problems right. Now, timer goes off. Everybody puts their papers down and we're no longer playing math. We're no longer doing math. Everyone stood up. They found a partner and they bet. Ashleigh, I bet you 2 chips. Rock, paper, scissors. You win, I pay up. I win, you pay up. Person with the most chips at the end of the 8 minutes playing rock, paper, scissors, they're the winner. So I did that too because I told them, even if you're not good at math, you can still be a winner. So even if someone who started out with 2 chips and got no problems right the whole time, they tried, but they still won because they were just good at rock, paper, scissors. They had so much fun.
That's fair.
One boy went all in, first game lost. I was like, okay. You should not go to the casino.
The thing with my students that I've noticed is they don't strategize very well. like we're playing a rounding game and they pick 3 cards and they have to round to the nearest 100. And then they have to X out the basketball hoop with the number. And the goal is to get all the numbers cleared. And I'm sitting here watching them. And mind you, I sampled it for them. And I was like, oh, well, I already have 700. So if I move this around, I can get 600. And they're making the same number over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm just like,
Make it make sense.
you already have that one. And then they would get mad at me because they were playing against me. And I'm I'm strategizing. Here's the thing. I'm not going to look.
Yeah.
One thing Ms. Brant ain't going to do, Ms. Brant is not going to let you win. If you win, you won fair and square, okay? Because it's not no participation award around here, baby.
Nope.
It's not. It's not. You got to work for your stuff over here, okay?
Yeah.
So they were mad like, oh, you just won because you went first. I said, no, I won because I strategized and I took my time and I thought about what I needed in order to win. And they're like, no, just because you're a grown-up. And I was like, okay.
Whatever you say. Whatever you say.
Like, it's wild. It's real wild. Yeah. It's real wild.
So I really try to do paper, but we've been rambling, y'all. We had 16 minutes. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We'll be fine. We can jump into our estudiantes.
Yes, star student.
Yes, and today's star student is Gamer 007722.
Gamer, you got some workbooks you be working in too?
I hope so. And their review is titled Star Review, and it's clearly a 5-star.
Pew, 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 pew.
And Gamer, yeah. And Gamer 007722 says, I found this podcast on TikTok when it first started. When I first found it, there were maybe the first 10 episodes out, and I went back to listen to all of them. Last year was my first year of teaching, and finding a podcast that I could escape to after work that would distract me was so reliving. It was also nice to know that how I was feeling last year was somewhat normal, and more teachers felt how I felt than I thought. Ashleigh and Brooke keep all things so real, whether it's real life talk, teacher talk, and obviously the true crime talk. I love how they feature both low-level and high-profile cases. I cannot wait to continue listening. Gianna.
Hey.
Okay, Gamer 007722, a.k.a. Gianna.
Yo.
Yeah. Well, Gianna, I thank you so much for your review. This goes that's for you, babe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was great.
Does it every time.
So, I don't know how to call this one. Let's see. Let me think. Okay. Sit down. Okay. Shut up. The deaths are about to begin.
Ahora.
Trigger warnings for today's episodes are the fact that we will be discussing an unsolved case that talks about underage drinking, serving minors, and death of minors. As some of you know, we recently made the top 200 chart in South Africa.
Yes! Shout out to our listeners over there. Y'all like us or something?
We love you guys.
Thank you.
I'm a little biased because one of my bestie boos is from there. And she gave me some insight on this case and she helped me with pronunciation. So hopefully I do her justice and make her proud.
Yes, girl. It's Meg.
Yeah, Meg.
Hey, Meg. How you doing, girl?
Hey. So I did want to kind of jump on that bandwagon of being in the top 200 in South Africa. And I found us a case from South Africa.
Okay.
Yes. All right, let's get into it. So on June 25th, 2022, police were called to a bar in East London around 4 a.m. local time, where they would discover a scene unlike any other. The call came in with reports of lifeless bodies. At least 9 women and 12 males were found inside the bar, dead. which would leave many officers and investigators wondering, what the hell happened here? However, the answer might not be that simple. What was later determined is that the 22 victims inside Scenery Park East London bar Enyobeni Tavern were not just male and female, but they were the bodies of young teenagers. Officials located 17 bodies inside the bar already dead. 2 died at a local clinic, 1 died on the way to the hospital, and another died once admitted to the hospital.
Were they
According to
drugged?
yeah, see, we're going to get into it.
Okay, because that sounds like drugs.
It's a lot of bodies.
Yes.
According to an article by the Maverick, 4 victims were listed in critical condition at the local hospital, and 3 others reported taking themselves to the hospital after going home and suddenly feeling ill. This sparked fear in the surrounding area, as most of these teens were not even at the legal age to drink or go into bars. And if that's the case, why were they there that Saturday night? And why did they never make it home to their families? Would the living victims be able to provide any information for SAPS, or would it all lead to a dead end? These were the questions that SAPS, South African Police Service, would have to answer. Among the 22 victims, 9 were women and 12 males. The ages ranged from 13 years old all the way to 17 years old.
Why were y'all in the bar?
What? Yes.
Don't y'all got school? Well, no, it's a Saturday, but still, go play with your Barbies. See?
Yeah. Kick a ball in the street.
See? Going to drink for what? For what?
Yeah. However, sources vary, and one source said that the victims could have ranged from 14 years old to 20 years old, which doesn't make it any better.
No, it's still
regardless,
underaged.
These were children, and now they're dead.
Yes. That's crazy.
Yeah. The bodies of these victims were discovered lying on tables, slumped in chairs and couches, while some were laying on the dance floor dead.
Not on the dance floor?
Yep.
Oh.
While inspecting the victims at the bar, it became apparent that they had more questions than answers due to the fact that the bodies of the victims had no visible wounds or signs of injury, according to USA Today. And if that is the case, that left everyone still wondering, what the hell happened here?
They were drugged.
What they did notice were a few of the victims were missing their wallets and IDs, meaning that after they had passed away or passed out, someone had robbed them. The police minister said, quote, "They died as they danced. They danced, fall, and die."
No.
Literally. He added, quote, "Others would just feel dizzy, sleep on the sofa, and die. It tells you the story that they were all kids because somebody should have taken note."
That people just falling left and right. Like, oh.
And like, y'all just keep on moving? Like what?
But then at that point, thinking it was probably already in their systems, and who knows how much they had and how they realized they're like, oh man, he's wasted. Wow, everybody's they might be at that type of situation. Like everybody's wasted. We're having a good time.
Well, they said that the first noticing of people passing out was like 1 a.m. By 1 a.m., people are trashed.
By 1 a.m., I'm asleep.
Same. Been asleep. Been asleep. I'm in REM sleep.
I wouldn't say I've been asleep because I typically go to bed around midnight. So, I'm just easing my toe in there.
I'm asleep. As I said, this broke the hearts of many, even the president of South Africa, 69-year-old Cyril Ramaphosa, offering the following statement on Twitter as it was known at the time. Quote, "This tragedy is made even more grave by its occurrence during Youth Month, a time during which we celebrate young people, advocate and advance opportunities for improved socioeconomic conditions for the youth of our nation." And when I asked Meg what Youth Month was, it was centered around this march that the youth did back when, and they ended up actually dying or something happened. And now they celebrate Youth Month in remembrance. And it's one where they help the youth, progress through life and try to get them upper hand. They
Mhm,
promote them, they
mhm.
support them, things like that. So
Nice.
this was Youth Month
Mhm.
at the time.
Nice.
With heartbreak, though, comes anger. And when that set in, the anger was shifted towards the owner/operator of the bar itself. How could they allow these underage teens into their establishment without noticing? It is illegal for anyone under 18 to consume or buy alcohol in South Africa. But after speaking to one of my closest friends, Meg, who is from South Africa, she confirmed that there was always ways around this, and as there are here. I mean, no, I was not in a bar at 13 years old,
Mhm.
but like, did I go to a bar underage? Yes, I did. You know what I mean? Like 13 is probably pushing it. Like that should never happen.
Mhm.
But she
Definitely.
also said that, they couldn't drink at under the age of 18. However, you would see kids under the age of 18 in bars.
So
That the laws in South Africa were not as strict as the laws here.
mm.
Mhm.
So, yeah, they were in the bar not drinking.
They're supposed to not be drinking.
Supposed to not be drinking.
Yes. Mhm.
Man, I didn't see my first bar till maybe 18.
18, 19. Mhm.
18.
Yeah, I
18.
think I was 18. I went to Panama City on spring break. Yep. Yep. I
I
hated it.
never
Hated every minute of it. Hated
Did you
every
really?
minute of it. Yes. Oh my God. It's when I knew I was a grandma for life. Yep. I was like, nope.
I've just recently turned into a grandma. Um,
Yeah.
my knees aren't working the way they used to, so it's just, part of time.
Yeah.
But back in the day,
Mhm.
I was turning up.
Yep. Knees like Megan.
Knees like granny.
Uh, the South African president also added to this concern, saying, quote, such young people were gathered at a venue which on the face of it should be off limits to persons under the age of 18. The bar also faced backlash when the video surfaced of the bar that night that you could clearly see how packed this place was, as in shoulder to shoulder with no way around anyone.
That's
And
not
I'm
even
sure we'll
fun.
have a no, absolutely.
Like,
That does not sound like a good time.
even when I would go out and situations would be like that, like, I'm the person
Mhm.
that if someone, like, bumps into me,
Yeah.
I will shove them back. Like, watch where you're going.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Mhm.
How are you having
One,
fun?
I like to go on the dance floor and be able to move around like an idiot and not bump into anybody. Like, I want my
Mhm.
bar that less crowded. Like, I don't wanna be
Yeah,
shoulder to shoulder.
yeah,
That's not
yeah.
fun to me.
I'm not even like a
Yeah.
bar girl anymore. I'm more of like a
Yeah.
lounge. I like a lounge vibe now, you
Yeah.
know?
Good lounge. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the
Mhm.
babies go to the clubs, and I'm not a baby. I'm a
Yeah.
seasoned veteran.
Seasoned veteran. Yep. Mhm. Yep. And I mean, we probably put up a picture somewhere on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, which we hope you are, like and subscribe. But it was so packed and you can see it in the photo. Like there was no way to move in this place. And like even if you don't see how packed it was, when
Mhm,
you are on our Instagram, if you're listening on audio, I posted a picture of just the inside of the bar itself and like it's so small. Like it's
mhm.
small.
And it
These
was
rooms were not
probably
big rooms.
and it was probably like, where's the bouncer? Like, y'all are above capacity.
Mhm.
'Cause the capacity, even at
Yep.
capacity, y'all should be able to move around in here. You know what I mean? Y'all
Mhm.
shouldn't be packed in here like sardines. So,
Yep.
someone
We'll
else
get
wasn't
to
doing their
that.
job.
Uh-huh. Correct. What law enforcement had learned was that the Enyobeni Tavern promoted a Saturday night of, quote, hookah, food, and alcohol on its active Facebook page. The post also told customers it was providing live performances, some surprise guests, and even various DJs. Now, this is not uncommon for a bar to do, right?
Mhm,
Obviously, bars promote themselves.
mhm,
That's how you make money.
mhm,
So I don't know like how you could be mad at a bar for putting that out there on Facebook,
mhm,
but
mhm.
I guess in the midst of losing a child, you'll almost blame anybody for any reason whatsoever. And I get that. And you are entitled to those feelings. But what they're saying is this bar was promoting all of these things, right? They were promoting the DJ, surprise guests, alcohol, hookah, food. And this Saturday actually fell on the day after school exams had just finished. So these kids had taken their final exams on Friday, and it was called, oh gosh, don't let me get it wrong. I didn't add it in here. Pins Down. It's called Pins Down Day.
Oh, that's cute.
In
I like
South
that.
Africa. I thought it was so cute.
That's so cute.
So these kids finished their high school exams on Friday, and it is now Saturday, right? So do they want to celebrate? Absolutely.
I want to know if on the flyer it said 18 and up or something like that. Because I know you said the rules were like bended, like they were not as strict, but like did the underagers have a wristband to like?
Well, to cover the owner's butt, like I didn't put this in here either, but he later said that like it was not uncommon for underage people to show up, but they always just solicited outside of the bar. Like they would hang out outside the bar, like on the lawn area. Like they would just be outside the bar.
Which is also a way to get in? Like if they're in the lawn, did they have to like pay their cover to get in, or are they just outside?
No. They were just like outside the bar. But the door to the bar is open so they can see people, they can hear the music. And like he said that a lot of times the underage kids would just hang out outside the bar. I think he more or less said that to cover his own butt.
Yeah,
to be
because
honest.
then how were they inside dead?
Right. But you're saying 99% of the time they're just outside the bar.
But today, so this one particular night, they were all inside.
Correct. 22 of them. Yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So school exams had just finished. The DJ was promoting his birthday party. And so to add all of those reasons to go celebrate as a teenager, which I get it, it was also the last of the COVID-19 restrictions in South Africa. They had officially been lifted that day.
That'll do it. That'll do it. Because we went feral when we were able to get back in those streets, okay? Even though I could do another lockdown. I could do one. I saved so much money.
Take a lockdown for 500?
I would sign me up expeditiously. Would you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So all these things are very enticing to teenagers. Like they're bored on a Saturday night. Like we just finished our exams. It's kind of like it's officially like summer or well, it's winter over there at this point. But like, why not try to get into a bar and see what's going on in the streets? Like, why not go hang out with your friends? I mean, we were once teenagers. Like, we get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Oh, sorry, microphone. So sorry. Like, I get it. You want to go and do these things, right? I mean, we weren't trying to go to bars at 16, but were we having parties in fields on the back of pickup trucks? Yes, we were. So.
Yeah, we partied at Mama Trudy and Papa Steve's basement.
Yeah, there you go.
That was it was the party pad. They were like, "Oh, we coming to the basement? Yeah, let's go." Like,
let's go. Doors open, $5 cover.
Yeah.
BYOB.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, given all of this information, the tavern obviously was not quick to speak out. I mean, why would they, right? They want to cover their own butt. But the investigation continued, and we did learn some things. However, those things just left everyone with even more questions. What they did do was have the Eastern Cape Liquor Board revoke the nightclub's liquor license, as they should.
Solid.
And would be pursuing criminal charges against the club's license holder. This action stirred up stricter surveillance on nightclubs operating in the back streets of poor neighborhoods in South Africa that had had a history of not following alcohol laws and regulations. So now you have 22 dead teenagers, right? You have charges being filed against the owner of this bar.
Yes.
But now you have other owners of other bars that are pissed at you because now they're under fire and you have caused them stress. And so now everyone's mad at you. Everyone's mad at you. And the owner wasn't even there that night. However, he's facing the most repercussions out of anybody.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. It's your establishment and you should know what goes on in your establishment. And you should have employees that know the rules and we're going to enforce the rules. If that means we have less attendance, that just means we have less attendance.
And we got to figure out a way to bring him in another way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can't tell me that they strategically said all of these things on the pens down, like on the day after they finished their exams. You can't tell me that you didn't exclusively, like you weren't thinking like, all right, I know that if I say this X and Y and I place it on this day, I know it's the day after so that more people are going to, you can't tell me that you didn't strategically do that.
Right.
You knew what you were doing, advertising all this stuff on this particular day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, strategic. Yeah, 100%. 2 days after the bodies were discovered, new details about the case came to light when people from the bar that night told SAPS they recall a strong and suffocating smell in the jam-packed building that night. They could not pinpoint the smell, nor could they give any more detail than that, but that was something to work off of. Police did think it could have been a possible gas leak and sent forensic samples from the victims to a toxicology lab to investigate further. And they did this because they had multiple people saying, well, we smelled something. So obviously this gave them their first indicator, not only run autopsies, but we need to do a toxicology report on these victims.
Especially if you didn't see any wounds.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
This did encourage others to begin to speak out on that night, with one being a 19-year-old who was hired by the bar to promote a new alcohol brand.
How old was he? She?
19.
So, okay.
So 1 year above the legal drinking age.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
She spoke about how she was just so confused by the whole night in general, but that she felt super grateful to be alive. She did mention how packed the bar was and how she herself struggled to escape through a door that was being blocked with people. She said, quote, "We tried moving through the crowd, shouting, 'Please let us through.' And we were shouting, 'We are dying, guys, and we're suffocating, and there are people who can't breathe.' She added, quote, 'I passed out at that moment. I was running out of breath and there was a strong smell of some type of spray in the air. We thought it was pepper spray.' As she continued her story, she said she woke up once someone had thrown water on her. And then she added, quote, 'I got up and realized that there were bodies lying all around. I saw people being poured water on, but those people did not even move. I could have died.'" Yeah. And she's not there to attend the party. She's there working and this was happening to her.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
this statement really, So this statement really hit me because it shows that people did start to notice something was off about the place. But while some people were still there in their right mind and wanting to help, like the people throwing water on these collapsed victims, you still had others that were probably drunk and still having a good time.
Yeah.
So you probably had a weird vibe mix going on. Like you had people that were realizing something's happening, get us out of here right now, like we're freaking out.
Yes.
And then you had the others that are like, "Oh, stop it, man. Like, let's get another drink," And you can't blame either people.
No.
They didn't know.
Yeah.
But it's just eerie feeling, I guess. So her story was also supported when another staff member said that they were sprinkling water on unconscious people to wake them up, under the impression that they were just drunk. But they quickly realized what was really happening around them, saying, quote, "I saw 2 people collapse. They died." Multiple bargoers also said that security did attempt to get people to leave due to the overcrowdedness, but that they were unsuccessful due to being very, very short-staffed that night. They even claimed that the security tried to get people to leave, and when they couldn't, they locked the doors from within to keep people from getting into the bar. Meaning, we're just going to keep the people we already have in here. We're not going to let anybody else in. Nobody will leave, but we'll just keep these people in. And then that's what that 19-year-old was referring to when she said that people were blocking the door to get out. Yeah. Now, when the security guard was trying to keep people in and keep people out at the same time during this door closing situation, they sprayed something into the crowd, which led people to feeling like they couldn't breathe. It is believed that it could have been some form of pepper spray. However, that has not been confirmed.
Okay.
And that's kind of what everybody's talking about. They smelled and then they felt like they couldn't breathe, things like that. Now, pepper spray will do that to you, but
it
I'm
won't
not
kill
sure
you?
that pepper spray can kill 22 people.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No.
What the public also learned was that although the teen's official cause of death could not have been revealed to the public, a spokesman for the Eastern Cape Department of Community Safety told the Maverick that the forensic pathologist performing the autopsy believed the teens must have consumed something that ultimately led to their deaths.
Mm-hmm.
The statement given was the following, quote, "They said it was something they ingested, possibly from the beers they were consuming, or something they inhaled from those hubbly bubblies that they were smoking."
Oh, the hookahs.
The hookahs, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was one of the theories floating around about what could have happened to the teens at the bar that night. This theory, along with the theory of the teens being trampled to death, which was later ruled out according to the Maverick. This theory was ruled out almost instantly because when the police arrived and they were checking all the bodies, they noticed that 3 young people ran out of the club to speak to them. And upon running to them, those 3 people actually collapsed. One of them actually died later. So it was ruled out that like a stampede/trampling situation happened.
Yeah.
Also because none of the bodies that they found had any like bruises or step marks on them or anything like that. What did come to light later after the autopsies were done and the toxicology reports came back, it was later found that methanol had been identified as a possible cause of death, but they could not be 100% sure. However, methanol was found in all 22 victims that were there that night.
Okay.
And if you're unsure what methanol actually is, it is a toxic form of alcohol that is used industrially as a solvent, like a cleaning solution, like the alcohol you use on your skin. Yeah. But
The
it was
stuff that
not
you
used for the production of alcohol for human consumption.
Yeah, it was that night.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody did something.
Mm-hmm. Which makes you think.
Mm-hmm.
They also had the possibility of saying that alcohol poisoning and carbon monoxide could be indicators due to a gas leak and a generator that was running, because all of the victims had alcohol in their system along with some form of carbon monoxide. But they didn't think that there was enough levels of carbon monoxide in their system to kill them.
Yes. If anything, it would just make you pass out, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, unfortunately, this investigation is ongoing, but SAPS has said that they are using all their manpower and resources on this case to figure out what took place in that bar that night. The only arrests that have been made as of now are the owner of the club and 2 employees due to them serving alcohol to the minors.
Okay.
Anyone with any information about this tragedy is encouraged to call Crime Stop number at 08-600-10111. Obviously, that is a South African number. So if you are American, I do not know how that's going to work for you. Really unsure.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we like to leave you with something before I ask Ashleigh her thoughts on the night following the tragedy, and to end on a somewhat good deed to the families. The South African National Civic Organization held a visual in front of the bar that week, praying for the victims and their families. At this visual, they also said that they would be providing free grave sites for all of the victims, with the local funeral provider donating coffins, transportation, and assistance with all burials.
Okay.
To no cost to the families.
Okay. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
So, with all these theories, what do you think happened to these kids?
I think it was something. I want to say it's the alcohol. I want to say they were all in there drinking. You know, she was hired to hype up this new alcohol. They were all drinking the alcohol. They all passed out. You know, I don't think the CO2 thing is really vibing with me. Because I feel like there would have been a lot more casualties with the amount of people that were in there.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm going with the alcohol or some. I would say air, but I don't think there is. The only other thing that could in the air is CO2 and there weren't enough levels. So I'm going with the alcohol. Something was in the alcohol that killed them. That's what I'm going with.
Correct. I think so as well, but I also have seen I've seen a lot of fictional shows. I'm going to say they're fictional because that's what they are. But we've all seen the scene where a new alcohol brand comes into the club and it's almost not a terrorist attack. Well, it is in the shows because these are fictional shows. But you have some sick psycho that punctured the alcohol with a little syringe and wanted to make, could that be a possibility? Absolutely. Like, this could be an inside job. We don't know. We don't have answers. Yes, I am speculating. These are my opinions. I do not know this for sure. But 22 kids died. One, all of them were most of them were underage, right? Depending on which source you want to believe. So the 13 to 17 years old, that puts all of the kids underage. Their bodies are different than that of 20, 30-year-olds that are in that club, right? The things that kids can tolerate and the things that adults can tolerate are vastly different.
Yes.
So it's weird to me that there were legal drinking age adults in this bar and nothing happened to them. So I don't know. I'm just a little skeeved out by the whole thing. Like, I don't know.
What if your theory with the puncture and that particular bottle that was punctured was only given to that group of kids?
Correct. Because they could have all gone together and sat at one VIP table or one table in the back.
Or come in on an influx like, oh, let me get. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody knows something.
Of
I don't
course.
know if that somebody was at the bar or not. But somebody knows something.
Of course.
And I find it strange. Again, all my opinion. I am just giving you my opinion. This is not factual. I find it strange that the owner of the bar is quoted to always be there. And this one night he was not there. See, I find that a little weird. Just saying, because multiple sources were like,
but it does spark as strange.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
But that is the case of partying gone bad.
Wow. Think twice about partying, friends.
Yep.
It's just really crazy how these days there's so many things in place to prevent you from, there's these drops that you can drop in your drink and if it turns a certain color, it's been spiked, or those little cup condoms, if you will.
Scrunchy thing. Yeah.
That you put on top. So you're not getting anything in my drink. What is wrong with y'all? I just want to know.
I walk around like this. This is how I walk around.
I just don't understand. Why would you want to do that?
But you got to think, you're talking to college-aged kids. A 13-year-old is not going to think about drops in their drink or putting their hand over their cup. They're 13.
They're like, oh, snap, I'm getting a drink.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got to think, okay, when I was, obviously I was in a sorority, right? And we had functions and all the, if you were of drinking age, you got a wristband. You got checked by our chaperones getting onto the bus and you got a wristband. So if you didn't have a wristband, you were underage. Well, when I remember doing this, okay, not me, but I had friends that did it because to me it's disgusting. But I would help them do this. My underage friends would literally find drinks that people sat down to go to talk and they would take them just to have something to drink. So all night they're mixing whatever they can find, red wine, vodka sodas, vodka cranberries, whiskey cokes, whatever was left laying around that somebody sat down at these functions, they would drink them just to get drunk.
Very much giving mono.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But I'm just saying, that's what my friends were doing at 19 years old. Wow. You know what I mean? Not thinking of the consequences. They just wanted that first little outing of getting drunk. So I don't think that even though all those things are in place now, I don't think that a 13, 14-year-old or even a 16-year-old's thinking that way.
No. But you know who's going to be prepared and thinking that way? Skylar and Aria.
Yep.
Skylar and Aria. Because mama's going to prepare them.
Yep. Mhm.
Wow. Well, hopefully somebody has something.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy. That's crazy. Mm-mm-mm.
Yep.
Wow. Well, thanks for bringing us that.
Yeah.
While we were recording, I got the text. We do have a 2-hour delay tomorrow.
Woohoo!
So yeehaw,
You get to
yeehaw.
sleep in,
I
girl.
sure am. I sure am. I might try and go to the gym before work since I can't go after work.
That would get your day started.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see what classes they got and see if I'm gonna make it. See if
There
I'm
you
gonna make
go. Nice.
it. But as always, the bell don't dismiss you.
We do.
So we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.